Hey guys, just want to announce that I have started a Patreon. If you want, you can go over there right now and sign up for the Dollar Make You Holla Posse, just $1 a month. Never feel like you have to do that though. More tiers and rewards will come in the future, but for right now, I just want to say thank you for watching Christian Hannah Horror. Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Hannah Horror here. We are talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street. I had so much fun reviewing the Halloween movies, and I'm hoping you guys did too. It was really fun for me getting to really talk about individual movies. When I started this channel, I was like, I don't want to do reviews, that's boring. But something about the community, the talking back and forth with you guys about these movies, makes it so fun. So I want to go and do the Nightmare on Elm Street movies because I've never done them. I did the Friday the 13th. I just did Halloween. I have never gone through the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and talked about them. And I guess we're saving the best for last for me because Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror movie franchise in the world. Freddy is my favorite. So let's get going. Nightmare on Elm Street 1984. This movie had everything going against it. This movie had a director who had some good hits. Wes Craven, Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes. This guy was making great movies. But nobody wanted to pick this script up, and it was kind of strange. His good friend Sean Cunningham has gone on record saying, what else you got? You know, that's kind of cool, but it's a dream. It's not scary. Nobody's going to be scared about it. You know, there were also studios that just said, I don't think so. I don't think so. And poor Wes, you know, I'm glad that he didn't take a hint. You know, if he would have took a hint, he would have put this movie to the wayside, but he didn't. He decided to go on and keep pressing this movie, and it landed in the hands of a gentleman named Bob Shaye. Bob Shaye owned a small little reel-to-reel company. New Line Cinema was nothing. They rented out like a taco shop to do their work in. Not literally, but you get what I'm saying. They were a nothing company. And this is a true Cinderella story because this movie was made for pennies. Bob Shaye leveraged his life to make this movie, and it was the biggest risk anybody can take. High risk, high reward. You know, so Nightmare on Elm Street comes out, and it is this sleeper hit that nobody sees coming. You know, this is an occasion where I've talked about this with Halloween, and there's really only a couple movies I can think of that I really think this, but Nightmare on Elm Street is one of these movies where sure there are things that may be imperfect, but this is a perfect movie. You wouldn't change anything about it. It is this movie that is such a concise story. It doesn't feel like scenes put together. It doesn't feel like it's such a seamless hour and umpteen minutes of movie that can get so lost in it. It's so hard to stay in reality when watching this movie, and I mean that in every sense of the word because of it's a movie about dreams, but it's so smooth and fluid. You know, the character of Freddy Krueger is so like individualistic and so like objective. He's so visual. He's not just the jumpsuit, the mask. You know, not that there's anything wrong with the Michaels or Freddys or anything like that because they're great in their own right. But there's something so like precise about Freddy that nothing has ever in my eyes just came close to the visuals of what that character is able to do in movies. It really is something incredible. And when you think about what he's wearing, it's almost funny. He's wearing a Christmas sweater and a fedora hat. You know, the story behind the character was Wes read in a science magazine how red and green are the hardest colors for the eyes to put together, which is kind of weird because I'm looking at my life size Freddy and I'm looking at it, it's fine, but whatever. That's besides the point. This movie, you know, changed. Was big in changing the course of horror movies. You know, I can admit that maybe without Halloween there may not have been a Nightmare on Elm Street, but I dare say that without a Nightmare on Elm Street, there wouldn't have been other movies that were to come. Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, Michael definitely opened the door for things, and I think after Freddy, I mean Freddy just blew the wall out and created a whole type of just atmosphere for movies that just never existed before. Robert Englund is the most iconic, plays the most like one of the most iconic characters in the world, and it became who he was, and he was proud to become that character. Now, as far as the original movie, the things that are so perfect about this, the score, it's more of an atmospheric score. Sure, there are parts of the theme that you can hum, the da na 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 na. That's just great, but a lot of it is a lot of voices, and it's perfect because it's dreamlike. You know, the dialogue, the writing in this movie, everything is fine. Every character has their own specific personality, but nothing's over the top. Nothing's not believable. These are characters that you can relate to. There's somebody in this movie you can relate to. And it's really almost like a message within a movie about, children and parents not always taking their kids seriously when they come to them about things. And there's been talk about that in documentaries. Whether that was, implemented literally or not, I don't know. But there's definitely a sense of watching this movie where you say, listen to people, listen to what they're saying. They're not always just going to be making things up. So that's another interesting aspect of this movie. A couple things that are controversial about the Nightmare on Elm Street film, the original Nightmare on Elm Street film is, Freddy was a child murderer, but there was such hint throughout that message that he was a child molester. Now, I think that was pushed back in the script because of, at the time, there was a big epidemic of things like that going on. And weirdly enough, a child murderer seems more appropriate than molester. Not that I want to get into that at all, but, just kind of strange when you think about it. This movie went on to gross, I don't know how many millions of dollars, and it's going to create this whole world and many sequels, which we're going to talk about. Trying to do spoiler-free in case anybody who's a casual horror movie fan watches this and wants to see what this movie's all about. I'm sure Freddy is somebody you know of, but maybe you've never seen the movies. I dare say Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the greatest horror films. It's up there with Frankenstein. It's up there with Halloween. It's up there with, you name it, Silence of the Lambs. Freddy Krueger's Nightmare on Elm Street is up there, and it may be a little bit higher above a lot of the movies I'm saying. So that's how great of a movie it is to me. What are you guys' thoughts on the original Nightmare on Elm Street, the 1984 classic? Please drop your comments below, and we will see you guys next time when we dive into Freddy's Revenge, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, where things get a little weird.